One thing I've noticed, a lot of these venues, people are sometimes not paying as much attention. They're talking, chatting, having fun with their friends. And when Anthony starts doing a song, I've noticed that people just kind of stop talking and pay attention. When he goes into a solo, it kind of just lifts the whole room and it soars. And you can tell he's just got that certain something that makes people pay attention. He's got that quality.
I was born in Tri-City, Oceanside, grew up in Fallbrook, lived in Fallbrook my whole life. When I was about the age of 4 years old, my grandma brought me a real small little guitar from Mexico, and I used to always just throw it around the house and just play around with it, and just all the strings were breaking off and it was just all tore up. I just always showed a love for music. My parents told me that when I was little I used to get the pots and pans and mess around with those, and there's even some pictures of me, SpongeBob's in the background, and I'm got this little beat up guitar and I'm playing with it left-handed. Around the age of 8 is when I started really listening to music and paying attention and what's going on in the music. Instead of just hearing it on the radio, I was actually taking the time to go and look up songs and different bands and stuff like that. And at the age of 9 is when I wanted to play guitar. So I remember one whole summer I ended up doing odd jobs, mowing lawns, all that stuff. And I bought this $100 guitar at Costco from Indonesia. Came in a box with a little amp and everything in this just cardboard box. And I didn't even know how to play then, and I plugged it in and I don't even know what I did with it. I just did random stuff because I didn't even know a note or anything. And so then I started taking lessons from this famous musician named Larry Robinson in Temecula. So we called him one day, well actually my dad called him one day. It was at this music shop in Temecula, and this guy answers the phone, and because we were trying to look for where I could take lessons at close to home. So it turns out he did this group lesson in Fallbrook, so we decided to go check it out. I ended up taking lessons, and they taught you the basic chords and stuff like that. And one of the things I used to do is I'd give you 5 chords to go home and learn. And then I remember I used to come back the next week with 2 more that you never even told us about. I just look it up, like charts, almost like tablature almost, I guess. But it just kind of tells you where to place your fingers at. And so then by that time he said that I was the best student in the class. We thought he was just lying, he probably told it to everybody. But after that he said he wanted to do private lessons with me, and he said he hasn't done private lessons in about 15 years. So we said okay, did that. And one of the things that ended up happening every time, because I wanted to learn how to read music, one of the things that happened every single time, we ended up just jamming. He would teach me some chord structure or a scale or whatever, and we'd end up just jamming. I never learned how to read music. And so finally, we really took the time, paid attention. Okay, this is what we got to do. Got to the point where he said, okay, I'm gonna have to give you off to somebody else who's gonna teach you. Robin Rita, I believe his name was, if I pronounced that right, in Temecula. And he took me under his wing and taught me scales and stuff like that. Because at the time I didn't know how to solo or anything, I just only knew how to play rhythm. So he taught me some chords and stuff like that and some other scales. And then by the age of 10, I joined this program in Oceanside, no, Vista actually, called the School of Rock. They focus on a group or a genre of music for about 3 months. And they go book a gig and rehearse, and then they'll go play that show. So I did a few shows with them. That really helped me too with stage presence and learning how to play with other people. I ended up going to open mics and stuff like that just to get to play with people better than me and get my chops down really, and just focus on what do I have to do to get better. And so Larry Robinson got killed, and he started this open mic 2 weeks before he got killed in Fallbrook at the Valley Fort. And so when he got killed, they carried it on in tribute to him. They carried on the open mic, and I met this guy, Paul Alvarado, this guitar player, and when I first met him, I didn't know what to expect, like, cause I just seen this guy up there wailing. I was like, damn, he was just sick. And I remember thinking, I'll probably never see this guy again. I wanted to just go meet him. I was like so shy to go meet him. Until that day, until that night, I didn't know really how to solo or anything. Right then, he just, whoa, I was in like this weird zone of just concentrating, going like, what the heck is going on? And so then I just ended up doing more open mics, and he took me under his wing, and he didn't really sit down and teach me. It was more like I played with him, I watched what he was doing, and that was that. I just watched what he was doing, and I tried to kind of not copy, but just get inspired by what he was doing. I believe I was 14. Ended up putting this band together because I had this other band that went by the name of Lucid. This ties back into Pala Mesa. We used to have the first hour to open up for them at their 3-hour gigs, and we'd work for tips. And that was another good way for me to like be able to be a leader in a band and really like, okay, how to get things done. Then I ended up starting this other band, and we just needed a quick name, so we just called it the Fallbrook Vigilantes. We had a 3-hour gig at Pala Mesa Resort, Fallbrook. And after that, we did that one show. We ended up doing more shows because the rhythm section, they were really digging it. They really liked it a lot. Then also that led to more connections, bigger gigs, and also meeting really just monster player musicians and stuff like that.
It wasn't until I heard him play with his own band, the Fallbrook Vigilantes, at Casa de Estrada in Fallbrook, and I was just blown away. His original music, his vocals, his connection with his bandmates, very different performance from a jam, and I was a fan from that day on.
Just gradually things just start popping up, things just start happening, and it's pretty cool because I really worked hard to get to where I'm at right now. Like just, you know, doing gigs, working with other people, just working hard.
He really knows what he wants. You know, he's diversified. He listens to all kinds of music, and he's serious. I mean, he gets up in the morning and starts practicing. You know, he practices on the way to school. He practices on the way back from school. He practices, you know, after homework. He practices all the way till he goes to bed, wakes up, starts over. He practices all the time. And, you know, well, you know, what you see is what you get when you see an Anthony Cullins show.
The whole working hard process, it's just, it never ends because really it ties into the whole learning process, and you just never stop learning. I've come to realize, and also talking with other musicians, is that you're never really satisfied with what you put out as product, whether it's a CD or your tone or whatever it is. You're never really truly satisfied. You're like, oh, that sounds, what is that? And everyone else is like, that sounds great. And you're just constantly working hard. It's like you're torturing yourself just to become better.
As a photographer, I wanted to preserve this this time in his life because there's, you know, so much happening there. And I was at the time I was in the process of building this portfolio called The Blues in A, featuring different blues artists in San Diego. And I thought Anthony would be a great addition to this.
Having fun on stage. I've never felt that playing has been work. No matter how hard it's ever been, it's always been fun. I've never been nervous about anything. No matter how big the crowd has been or the caliber of players I'm playing with, it's always been like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna get mine when I get up on that stage. When I get up on that stage, I'm gonna show what I can do. I wanna have fun when I'm on stage. No matter who I'm playing with, I want it to be where we sound good, but there's also something to watch. And that's what I think makes a good show.
At Boogie Magazine, we put him on the cover of our, the June issue? You know, we're really happy. The way the story came out was just the way Anthony talks. You know, it was just the way it's him. You know, and that's what we wanted. Is no fluffing, no nothing. He's just, you know, that's Anthony, and we love Anthony.
I always think of all the time as my roots of where I came from. Like, okay, I never forget where I came from, you know, whether it was Larry or even that small little guitar I got from Mexico from my grandma. You know, I always think about it because I'm like, you know what? If that never happened, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I probably would not be playing guitar at all, you know, who knows what I'd be doing. So I'm pretty blessed that I ended up picking up the guitar when I did. And it's been a fun ride, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
And this is a kid who is going places. And we created a memento to preserve this passage of his life.
I'm Anthony Cullins, and this is my story.